Well, this is the recipe for the most delicious lemon tart. Now, I know there's a chap watching out there. Yes, hello, Dylan. Dylan's requested that I make lemon tart. In fact, he calls himself Lemon Man because he actually loves loads of dishes with lemon in it. I do hope you're going to like this one, Dylan. I'm sure you will. In fact, this is quite a popular dish for me to make because I make it at occasions, you know, like Christmas and family parties. And where I'll also do a chocolate pud, I like to do a sharp lemon pud because you often find that some people don't like the chocolate puddings. They fancy something really cleansing on the palate. So I think you'll really enjoy this. Now, we are going to be making pastry. Yes. Oh, I can see the look of delight in your faces. Not. I don't know why when I say the word pastry, everybody seems to go to pieces, but it really is simple. There are some little tricks to pastry, and the main one being is you have to keep everything cool. Yeah, pastry is too cool for school. Keep that in your head and you will be fine. So I want you to have a go at it. And yes, this is sweet pastry and it's one of the harder pastries to make. But I know you guys, I know you can handle any challenge I throw at you, so I'm sure you'll be fine. You can, if you wish to cheat and get a ready-made sweet pastry tart, but I think once you've mastered this, you'll never be buying those again. So what are we going to need? Well, we're going to need 200 grams of plain flour. So I'm going to put that into the food processor. Now, you can use your hands, but as I've said, pastry likes to be cool. So the less you maul it with your paws, the better it will be. I'm also going to use 50 grams of icing sugar, and real nice powdery texture there, but sweetens it. On my website, I actually do have a separate recipe for sweet pastry, and this one is slightly sweeter to counteract the lemon tartness. So you can also, for other tarts that you make, you know, which aren't as tart itself in taste, as acidic in taste as lemons, use the other sweet short crust pastry recipe. You're going to use 2 egg yolks, so in they go. And don't waste the whites. Whisk them up, make some nice meringues. Oh, meringues, cream, strawberry. Oh, excellent. And then 2 tablespoons of really cold, icy cold water. Again, it just wants cold. Now, again, I've said to you it needs cold and it needs the butter. And I've left this in the fridge till the very last moment. About 120 to 125 grams. Again, the less you maul things, the better. I'm just going to get a knife and literally just help it along a little bit and cube it. Now for the fun bit. I'm going to blitz it away. If my machine will decide to work today, it is very temperamental. Let's give it a go. As you can see, I wonder if the cameraman will just have a look in here with me. You see that's just going together there. That's what you want. It will gradually go together when you get it out. So, again, I have a nice, very nice cold bowl there. Again, helps the process. And we're just going to take that out. And all I'm going to do is just give it a very, very, very quick moulding into a circle and get the rest of it. And I'm going to be putting this in the fridge for around about half an hour. Again, we just need to keep everything cold. Now then, I'm going to be very stern with you now because I know what you are like. You're rushing to get the lemon tart. Do not skip this process. Pastry has to have its time in the fridge, then it has to be rolled out, then it has to go back in the fridge again. So leave yourself plenty of time if you're going to do this recipe, but it has to keep cool. And that is one of the key secrets, remember, to successful pastry. So after about 20 minutes of leaving it in the fridge, it's gone nice and cool again, you'll be pleased to know. And all we're going to do now is we're going to roll it out. Now I'm just going to flour the surface and that of my rolling pin as well. That's a good roll. And what you'll see that I've got here is a 23 centimetre flan tin, and it's got a loose bottom. That helps you get it out later. But I've put that on top of a baking tray because when you put your pastry in, the last thing you want is to be coming all loose. So you've got some more control there with it being on a baking tray. So get that ready to one side. And then literally all you're going to do is just roll it out. Now, I like to keep my pastry moving. I think everybody has their own techniques. I know there are certain methods where you keep to the same direction, but I just literally like to roll it out, but make sure that I keep it moving and keep flouring the surface gently as well. So there we go. Put a bit more on there. Just stops it sticking. So very carefully, she says, just take your tray and place the pastry inside. And it's really a good tip just to get a loose bit at the end there. Just roll it up into a ball and to just use that to place your pastry in. The problem is with ladies especially, we have longer nails. And what we don't want is any holes at all in the pastry. Okay, now that's done. And all I'm going to do is to gently prick the base with a fork. And this will be ready for the next process of cooking. But before we do that, we're going to let the pastry rest again. Yes, it's a tired old pastry. Needs lots of cooling. When you are poking, don't go right down to the bottom. Don't be overzealous. Just gentle, gentle poke. And this will then make it easier for when you're going to do the next stage, which is baking blind. But the minute, you're just going to leave it as it is and pop it back in the fridge for about another 20 minutes. Now, you've taken your pastry case, can you see nicely there, out of the fridge? It's lovely and cool. And what I'm going to do is take all this excess pastry off as much as possible. We're not making a pie, you see. If we're making a pie, you tend to use this edge and crimp down a top, but we're not needing that today. So, it's going to take a lot of this excess off now. So as you can see there, that's just made a nice lining there. I've done that quite roughly. Usually I'd spend a lot more time faffing around. But today we've got to get this on the go. What I'm going to do is get a piece of foil. And I'm just going to cover the inside and just round the edges. And because we're going to bake this blind, which means actually giving the pastry a real lovely biscuity crispness, not a sogginess. That's why we do this. That's why we just prodded the bottom to let any steam out, and then to put this in. And I've got some ceramic baking beans. Now, because I bake a lot, and have to do a lot of baking blind of pastry, as they call it, then it's worthwhile investing in some. If you haven't got any of the ceramic beans, don't panic. You can just do the same, but use some brown rice or some lentils or some dried peas, anything just to weigh that pastry down and stop it puffing up and rising up. Now, we're going to put this in the oven for 15 minutes at 180 degrees. So, in it goes. So, after about 10 minutes of baking blind with the peas in, or the beans, or whatever you've got, take it out. Steady as you go. And what you're going to do then is just very carefully lift it out from the pastry. And then you're going to bake for another 10 minutes just to crisp the bottom up for a little bit longer. So I've now taken it out of the oven, so it's just left there to cool, and I've turned the oven down to around about 160 degrees. Need to get that oven a bit cooler. So while that's cooling down and while the pastry's cooling down slightly, I'm just going to get a bowl. I'm going to get 220 grams of caster sugar, and we're going to get 5 eggs, whole eggs this time. In there you go. Going to have the zest of 2 lemons. And the juice of approximately 4 to 5 lemons. It all depends on your lemon size. So you want around about 130 millilitres of lemon juice, so whatever that gives you. Sometimes it's 4 lemons with me, sometimes like today it was 5. So make sure you get that in. And 150 millilitres of double cream. Oh, yummy yum yums. In that goes. Clear a space out the way. And I just want to whisk this, just together. Right, so that doesn't want to be whisked for long, just a little bit, just to let it all be mixed together. I'll just give a double check to make sure, yeah, everything's amalgamated nicely. Such a glorious pudding, this. I really, really like it. You can even have some raspberries in it when it's actually finished and, you know, baked, and just place them on the top. It really does look pretty. So we're going to pour this now into the pastry case. Now you might have a little bit more mixture than what you required, but don't worry about it. So in it goes. And just fill it to as high as you dare. It's the best way to describe it, because you're going to need a very steady hand to take it now to the oven. And you want to cook it in the oven for around about 30 minutes. What you're looking for is just a slight gentle wobble, like a custard wobble, and then you'll know it's done. So I've taken it out of the oven, it's been nicely cooking there, and I've just literally let it cool and then removed it from its flan case really gently. But as a nice finishing touch, I like to add a little more icing sugar. So I'm just going to gently add that to the top. And a real nice chefy touch, if you want to be chefy, is to get a blowtorch, these like little kitchen blowtorches, and you can just use it around the edge to caramelize the icing sugar. That looks really, really nice as well. I hope you enjoy it. Absolutely delicious, as I say, with fresh raspberries, some cream and ice cream. Well, I think this one's coming home with me tonight.